may not be suitable for all audiences.
Art 101 with Mr. Burgher.
Scholars, welcome back to another episode of Art 101 with me, Mr. Burgher, a professional artist, and I'm a master educator attempting to provide you with the best in art historical content. If you like the content, make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
Hey, Mike, give me a pint.
So today I'm here right next to the Mississippi River in Minnesota. Minnesota is the home state to a train. Crying out loud. As I was saying, Minnesota is the home state of the great artist Duane Hanson, a very realistic sculptor that we're going to take a look at today. So let's jump on in. You take one part pop art and another part figuration and mix in a whole lot of hyperrealism, and you end up with the mixture that comes out as the Minnesota sculptor Duane Hanson. His works show American society and looks at individuals in our society from a very hyper-realistic perspective of art creation. He was first formally trained in a small college in St. Paul, Minnesota, and went on to the Cranbrook Academy of the Arts in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, where he would earn his master's degree. He was educated at a time when hyperrealism or realism was kind of a no-no, taboo sort of topic. You had to use your imagination, and you would never copy any sort of anything from reality. As his artistic ideas would develop, he began to explore the world in a much different way than he was accustomed to. For example, he spent some time living in Germany for about 7 years, where he worked as an art teacher there at an American military base. While he was living in Germany, he was exploring the possibilities of synthetic media. More precisely, he was looking at polyester resin, auto body filler, and fiberglass. In 1967, Duane Hanson started using live models to cast the characters, the artworks that he was creating. He would use all kinds of different folks, from hired models to people that he knew. This would obviously include his own children, as we see here, and in a moment we'll take a look at a work that includes another family member.
You know, in my day, Sherman, people used to spend time with their family on Sundays and special occasions, come around and pay their respect.
Duane Hanson began what we know today as his signature style in those experimental pieces. Continuing to teach in the United States, he was becoming more and more known for his sculptural works. His work began to have a voice. His work began to reflect his beliefs on the civil rights movement, as well as other topics such as abortion, homelessness, and all sorts of social issues that were going on in the mid-1960s. As you could imagine, some of the work, some of the ideas that he was presenting were met with a little bit of dislike, and even got him banned from a few galleries. But all the same, he kept going and doing the work that he felt compelled to create.
I knew exactly what to do, but in a much more real sense, I had no idea what to do.
Duane Hanson's work was very unique. He would use live models to create these various parts of their bodies before they were all kind of jointed and placed back together like a puzzle. He found people to play the role of the character that he wanted to make, and at times he would make a person sort of in a Dr. Frankenstein sort of matter of mixing and matching multiple people's parts together, but in the end it all worked out.
It's alive! Oh, it's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Once these pieces and parts were developed and put together, it wasn't finished yet. Duane Hanson had these works meticulously painted before being finished off with hair, clothing, and various accessories depending upon the idea. Most all of these artworks have a main role. They're the house painter, they're the cleaning lady, the tourist, or the person running the garage sale or whatever. There's just so many of them, so many great personalities that he's created, but One of my absolute favorite stories that revolves around a Duane Hanson sculpture happened at the Nelson Adkins Museum in Kansas City, Missouri. And I had been there before, and I had mentioned to the person that I had went with that there was a Salvador Dali room, that I had to find the Salvador Dali room. Now, of course, this doesn't exist. I just made it up. But anyway, I really didn't know where to find it, so I said, hey, listen, there's a security guard right over there. Go up and ask that security guard where the Salvador Dali room is. And as the person got closer and closer and closer, and there was no reaction from the security guard, eventually they look over at me and they're like, what? This is a sculpture. This isn't real. And that's how I introduced my friends to the museum guard. Side note, as discussed a moment ago, Hanson used models of family members as his artworks, and this work, the museum guard, uses the head of his uncle as the security guard.
Son, I'd like you to step away from this vector and get into a different coordinate pronto. There's no access for you in this quadrant.
The uniform and the badge look very similar to those that were used in the museum back in the 1970s, and when this was created, it looks spot on. Such a great character that he creates in this particular work, as he does with so many. He would say things like, I want the whole thing to create a mood that comes through the forms when they're right. And that's exactly what he does in works like these.
Nobody cares!
Side note, Duane's first solo show in the United States took place at the Des Moines Art Center in 1977.
Okay.
Hanson spent a great deal of his time at the end of his life in Florida, where he lived till the end, but that is not the end of Duane Hanson. His works live on with so many of these different characters, with so many different moods that are presented. It's a very pop art sort of idea that he's presenting. The everyday life is the important thing, not some sort of glitz and glamour and sparkly thing. It's the police officer, the construction worker that's working out on the job site, or just an old guy playing solitaire. That's what life is for these people, and that's really what he is showcasing. No different than Georgia O'Keeffe showing a flower, Andy Warhol presenting a Hollywood movie star, or Roy Lichtenstein showing us a clip from a comic book. It's everyday things that we walk past so quickly that really need to be looked at. And if we can learn anything from Hanson, it's slow down, pay attention, because there's art and there's life all around us.
Hopefully you enjoyed that one as much as I appreciate being able to bring it to you. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. It helps with the algorithm and all those things that we do here on social media type interactions. At any rate, we'll see you next time. You have yourself a good day.